Matt,
Sweet.
I want your raw live reaction.
Right.
Josh Augustine has left the World of Warcraft development team and Blizzard Entertainment.
That's interesting. It's sad to see Blizzard losing staff that have been there for a long, long time. That's consistently... that's really frustrating.
Yeah, I mean, there's probably like not much analysis to do because it's like just an individual person's decision. He did say, I'll be sharing updates on my next adventure in a few weeks. So obviously he's going somewhere else. Who knows? Who knows how? Who knows where? Who knows what have who have scooped him up? However, situation like this, I would say he has probably been given a an interesting option that is that he would want to pursue. So there you go. His very first quests were Gold Tusk Inn and the port of Zemlan. He did faction assaults, a bunch of Mechagon stuff with jetpack crafting, construction sites, Theatar. Oh, character. Ember Court, brackets, sorry/not sorry. Waking Shores and Dragon Scale Expedition, rock climbing plus cataloging. Oh, shit. Clearly me talk about the cataloging quest has forced him to quit World of Warcraft. I can't believe it. Wow, what good timing.
Okay. Yeah, this is really...
That's the thing, because you could clearly tell within the bounds he was given, he was trying to do something new with those, and it was appreciated.
This is one of the things that I really hate about World of Warcraft as a thing they're making specifically, and that is the amount of like embedded knowledge there, the amount of expertise in working in WoW Edit and working within that game system and working in those scripting tools is just gone. And obviously that's fine. People move on eventually, but it is kind of frustrating to me to see that. Obviously, I am assuming that, people under him were trained by him and et cetera, and it's not all lost. He'll have notes and stuff like that. But it is just a little bit of losing, because how much of content that we're going to get is predicated on him being there. How much is going to be missing now? What great lessons from the Ember Court were learned that have now been unlearned by the unit that is Blizzard.
Yeah, and like people would be like, I didn't like the Ember Court. But the lessons learned from the Ember Court. Yeah. That was good.
Yeah,
think about all the lessons that must have been learned from making those AI NPCs. Like, I sure would have loved them to have... Because, like, one of the things with WoW has been anxiety in PvE. So there's even things like, I don't know, I'm not just going to say, like, do a horde mode, but maybe do a horde mode with dynamic NPCs. Who knows? So that might be fun, might be shit.
Better than nothing.
But do something with those dynamic NPCs, because, like, that really resembled gameplay. Like, that was the game fighting back. It's cool when games fight back. People play Dark Souls fights back. And you just kind of wonder, like, a bunch of people are gone. I'm fairly sure one of the people who was heavily involved in Torghast, I think architected it, like, left for a startup.
I vaguely recall, yeah.
And it's just like, how much was lost there? One wonders, because if that, like, specific knowledge needed to do cool shit is lost, does that mean they were like, okay, what do we need? We need bodies sitting in WoW Edit implementing the basics of WoW. And maybe that's how you end up with Dream Surges and Primal Storms, instead of, like, someone who is experienced and comfortable working with this set of tools has been able to put together a little game in the game, like, Desecromy, like Trove of the Thunder King, etc.
Yeah, there's actually an analogy for this in FF14. Now, I haven't actually played the new patch or done the new Alliance raid because I've not really been playing much video games, to be honest. But a lot of certain people were complaining about the quality of the Alliance raid. Now, I've seen other people like praise it, so it seems to be some people like it, some people some people love it, some people really don't love it. And one of the things they talked about was that it very specifically was this is a either a new team of designers or a like less experienced team of designers doing this like on their own for the first time without the like oversight from the people who'd usually do that. And that's resulting in it being different and feeling different. And some of that is worse, some of that's different, some of that's better. But it's like, that's the thing that inevitably there will be a patch or two. And for World of Warcraft, you can kind of make or break the game with a patch sometimes, just because of how like it actually is a little bit on the razor's edge for a lot of people's opinion on how they play. And if you don't manage your like team correctly, you can ultimately have an issue of sorry, we have to ship a feature by the people who aren't who are more junior. Not to say they're worse or less talented or anything, literally just they are more junior, and that's the difference. And that can maybe be a little bit of a problem if you don't have the foresight. If you're too busy scrambling to keep yourself alive to train the next generation properly, to have, okay, well, here's the best encounter designers on the team are going to take the new encounter designers and teach them things for a couple of weeks or for 2 raids and go, right, well, okay, now you try your own thing. If it just happens, the best counter designer leaves, we have to replace them, then there's that training's not done. So that seems, obviously it's more they let them go here. They let them have their own spin in F14 and that resulted. But I'd be afraid of the same thing happening here in a way. It could also be fine because it literally could be fine. This is basically worst case scenario of the, I guess the kind of bad juju that comes from people leaving at a time of a little bit of a duress. It's unfortunate. Because you can imagine a billion reasons that aren't, I am happy and I've trained everyone and I go off. Yeah. That could be the case, but you do have to kind of worry about it.
And once you reach 700 people in a team, you just kind of enter shit show by default territory, which is anyone's going to have a shit show by default. It takes a lot of work to make it not be a shit show to have that many people.
Yeah, absolutely.
It's you think about, say, even the scale of Assassin's Creed Valhalla, and you just think how the fuck do they do that? How did they get that many developers to make a single piece of software together? That's insane.
It's hard to get 2 people to work on something sometimes, for me more than that.
Yeah, you wonder, it's it's the funny thing with Twitter, where it's not to be overly controversial, but it was almost certainly the right move to gut that fucking company. And a lot of people are like, oh my God, but there was job losses. Yeah, but they were inefficient jobs. The platform basically works as it did before. I know people are like, oh, there was some downtime and there was yeah, but their downtime's probably, way higher. Their uptime's definitely higher than 95%. And I know 99.9 is what you want. They're probably over 99. Think about it, from a time perspective. And it's it turns out the upkeep of Twitter did not depend on having 2,500 engineers seemingly with their thumbs up their butts. Twitter, a company that was, legendarily awful at shipping products and missed every fucking bag that it had. You know the way they had TikTok before TikTok?
Yeah,
that's cool.
Yeah.
So, which is just to say, sometimes a team grows with scale poorly, and it just grinds to a halt. Yet you think about the games like Assassin's Creed Valhalla, and you just think how the fuck do you coordinate that many people? That's insane. So I don't know. I wonder.
What's the matter?
Yeah. Because WoW fundamentally is a very content-heavy game.
Yeah.
And I think, some of that is because they do make a lot of additive content with no difficulty and no replayability.
Certainly a problem.
Yeah. It's how do you deal with that? Think about all the narrative content, and there's other games, they'll do missions and scenarios and stuff, but they'll usually try to turn them into some sort of content that's maybe replayable or there's has a higher difficulty mode or something, and they sort of haven't done that. Challenging. So anyway, bit unfortunate. I think we both had nice interactions with Josh on Twitter. We all wish him the best.